So once again, good day everyone. Information assurance is defined as the set of measures intended to protect and defend information and information system by ensuring their availability, integrity, authentication, confidentiality, and non-repudiation. And this includes providing for restoration of information systems by incorporating protection, detection, and reaction capabilities. And these measures are planned and executed by Information Assurance Directorate of the National Security Agency, or in the Philippine setting, sometimes we have network administrator, system administrator, MIS head, or MIS manager, and so on. It depends upon to your industry setting, or your institutional setting or organizational setting. Information assurance is the practice of assuring information and managing risk related to the use, processing, storage, and transmission of information or data, and the system and processes used for those purposes. So information assurance includes protection of the integrity, as I mentioned earlier, availability of data, authenticity of information, non-repudiation, and confidentiality of user data. So it means to say that it uses physical, technical, and administrative controls to accomplish this task. So while focus on predominantly on information in digital form, the full range of information assurance encompasses not only digital but also analog or physical form. And this protection apply to data in transit, both physical and electronic forms, as well as data at rest in various types of physical and electronic storage facilities. So information assurance as a field has grown from the practice of information security. And of course, right now in Commissioner Education, they already crafted the CMO for offering BS in information security or BS in cybersecurity. And at the same time, actually, they have also BS in data science. Now, so what information assurance is needed? The mission has evolved through three very distinct stages. Number one is first ComSec, the communication security. Number two is information system security, or yung InfoSec. And lastly is the information assurance, or yung IA. So, post in WWI and the Korean War, ComSec efforts focus primarily on cryptography. So one of your classmates was assigned to discuss about cryptography. Cryptography in a sense that designing and building encryption devices to provide confidentiality for information. So the introduction and widespread use of computers created new demands to protect information exchanges between interconnected computer systems. So this demand created the computer security, or CompuSec discipline. With the introduction of CompuSec came the recognitions that standalone ComSec and standalone CompuSec could not protect information during storage. So yung processing or transfer between systems. So this recognition gave rise to term InfoSec, and the information protection mission took on broader perspective. So information assurance emerged and focused on the need to protect information during transit, processing, or storage within complex and or widely dispersed computers and communication systems, or computer communication system networks. Information assurance includes a dynamic dimension where the network architecture is itself a changing environment, including the information protection mechanism that detect attacks and enable a response to those attacks. So information assurance means this will be a process of adding business benefit through the use of IRM, information risk management, which increases the utility of information to authorized users and reduces the utility of information to those unauthorized. So it is strongly related to the field of information security and also with business continuity. The information assurance practitioners consider corporate governance issues such as privacy, regulatory, and standard compliance, auditing, business continuity, and disaster recovery as they relate to information system. Therefore, information assurance is a best thought, no, of a superset of information security. So, and as it the business outcomes of information risk management, no. Now, information assurance process, no. So, when it comes to information assurance process, we need to enumeration and classification of the information asset to be protected. Number two, the information assurance practitioner will perform a risk assessment for those assets. Number three, vulnerabilities in the information assets are determined in order to enumerate the threats no capable of exploiting the assets. No, consider the probability of a threat exploiting vulnerability in the asset, impact of the threat exploiting vulnerability with impact, no, usually measured in terms of costs to asset stakeholders, and the sum of the products of the threat's impact and the probability of their occurring is the total risk to the information asset. With the risk complete, no, or with the risk assessment complete, the information assurance practitioner then develops a risk management plan. So, some of your classmates, actually one of your classmates was assigned also to discuss the risk management plan. What will be the purpose or what will be the risk management plan proposes countermeasures? Why do we need to have a risk management plan? Of course, for detection, accepting, no, mitigating or justifying, response to threats, no, eliminating, consider prevention, or transferring the risk. When we say countermeasure, no, in computer security, a countermeasure is an action, no, a device, a procedure, or a technique that reduces a threat, a vulnerability, or an attack by eliminating or preventing it, by minimizing the harm it can cause, or by discovering and reporting it so that corrective action can be taken. Okay, so it include technical tools such as firewalls and antivirus software, no? Policies and procedures requiring such controls as regular backups, no? And configuration hardening, employee training in security awareness, or organizing personnel into dedicated computer emergency response team or computer security incident response team. So the costs and benefits of each countermeasure is carefully considered. Thus, the information assurance practitioner does not seek to eliminate all risks where that possible, but to manage them in the most cost-effective way. So after the risk management plan is implemented, it is tested and evaluated open, no, by means of formal audits. So if you are the one who assigned to be an information assurance, so the process an iterative one. So in the risk assessment and risk management plan are meant to be periodically revised and improved based on the data gathered about their completeness and effectiveness. Actually, we have 5 information assurance pillars, no? As what I have always mentioned, starting last meeting, no, until now, no. So the 5 information assurance pillars are availability of data is very important, the integrity of data and information, authentication, confidentiality, especially right now, for medical records, no, confidentiality, applying the Data Privacy Act of 2012 in our country. We have cybersecurity 2020 or Cybercrime Act for 2012 also, and non-repudiation. So these pillars and any measures taken to protect and defend information and information system to include providing for the restoration of information system constitute the essential underpinnings for ensuring trust and integrity in the information system. The cryptologic components of information assurance primarily address the last 4 pillars of integrity, authentication, confidentiality, and non-repudiation. These pillars are applied in accordance with the mission needs of particular organization. Integrity, which means protecting against improper information modification or damage Let's say, for example, for payroll, no? So we are not allowed, of course, as much as possible, we need to secure the data and information, specifically the computations, no, and so on. So it includes ensuring information non-repudiation and authenticity. When you say confidentiality, which means preserving unauthorized restriction on access and disclosure, including means for protecting personal privacy and proprietary information. No, right now we are not allowed not to post. Let's say, for example, congratulations to those who passed this nursing licensure examination. We need to ask permission from the students. Same, let's say, for example, congratulations to those persons who presented researches provide budgeted by this organization as their CSR or the CSR. No, so it is not allowable except with permission. Okay, so another is the availability, which means ensuring timely and reliable access to the use to and use of information. In information assurance strategy, we need to consider the cybersecurity awareness and educations. We need to educate our personnel, no? We need to educate our staff from the middle level up to the lower level, no? Strong cryptography, of course, is always required, no? In a sense that, let's say, for example, if I ask you right now, how many characters do you have in your password? So at least based on what, of course, we always read, no, that is at least 12 and above. If you ask me how many characters or alphanumerics uh, na ginagamit ko right now in my Facebook account, Gmail account, and others, I use 50 alphanumerics, no? As part of the strong cryptography. Good security-enabled commercial information technology, enabling global security management infrastructure, and, of course, a civic defense infrastructure equipped with an attack sensing and warning capability and coordinated response mechanism. Maybe there is somebody who are asking, how do we differentiate the information assurance and information protection? Wait. Information assurance, as I mentioned earlier, it measures that protect and defend information and information systems by ensuring the availability, integrity, authentication, confidentiality, and non-repudiation. And these measures include providing for restoration of information systems by incorporating protection, no, detection, and reaction capabilities. On the other hand, no, information protection or information security, the protection of information and information system from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction in order to provide. Information security, no, the end of the 20th century and early years of the 21st century saw rapid advancement in telecommunications, no, computing hardware and software, and data encryption. So the availability of a smaller, more powerful, and less expensive computing equipment made electronic data processing within the reach of a small business and the home user. And these computers quickly became interconnected through the internet. So the rapid growth and widespread use of electronic data processing and electronic business conducted through the internet, no, along with numerous occurrences are international terrorism, no, fuel the need to better methods of protecting the computers and the information they stored, process, and transmit. So the academic disciplines of computer security and information assurance, no, emerged along with numerous professional organizations, all sharing the common goals of ensuring the security and reliability of information system. Actually, most commonly, no, especially in the field of IT, information security is sometimes shortened to InfoSec, no, because it is the practice of defending information from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, perusal, inspection rather, recording of distraction. So it is a general term that can be used regardless of the form the data may take. So either electronic man yan, physical, and others. We have two major aspects of information security. Nandiyan syempre si IT security and information assurance. That's why your course is information assurance and security. So IT security is sometimes referred to as a computer security, information technology security, is information security applied to technology and most often from some form of computer system. It is worthwhile to note that a computer does not necessarily mean a home desktop, no, because a computer is any device with a processor and some memory, even a calculator. Consider, of course, IT security. No, specialists are responsible for keeping all of the technology within the company secure from malicious cyber attacks that often attempt to breach into critical private information or gain control to the internal system. So information assurance, the act of ensuring the data is not lost when critical issues arise. These issues include but are not limited to natural disasters, computer server malfunctions, physical theft, or any other instance where data has the potential of being lost. No? Since most information is stored on computers in our modern era, information assurance is typically dealt with by IT security specialists. One of the most common method of providing information assurance is to have an off-site backup on the data in case one of the mentioned issues arises. So if you are the one who assigned as a network administrator, be sure that you have an offshore, no, or let's say, for example, if your agency or your company has other branches, let's say in Manila and in Davao, see to it that your backup, let's say in Manila, is in Davao, and the backup from Davao is in Manila. No, so governments, no, in our governments, military, corporation, financial institution, hospitals, and private businesses amass a great deal of confidential information about their employees, customers, products, no, research, and financial status. Most of this information is now collected, processed, and stored on electronic computers and transmitted across networks to other computers. Okay, so what will be the functionalities of information assurance and security? Again, don't forget, preservation of confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. In addition, other properties such as authenticity, accountability, non-repudiation, and reliability can also be involved. The protection of information and assurance information system from unauthorized access, use disclosure, disruption, modification, or distraction in order to provide confidentiality, no, integrity, and availability. It also ensure that only authorized users, no, have access to accurate and complete information when required. So information security is the process of protecting the intellectual property of an organization. So information security is a risk management discipline where whose job is to manage the cost of information risk to the business, because a well-informed sense of assurance that information risk and controls are in balance. So information security is the protection of informations and minimizes the risk of exposing information to unauthorized parties. Now, maybe somebody are asking about computer security. We have IT security, computer security, and so on and so forth. The objective of computer security includes protection of information and property from theft, corruption, or natural disasters, while allowing the information and property to remain accessible and productive to its intended users. So the term computer system security means the collective processes and mechanism by which sensitive and valuable information and services are protected from publication, tampering, or collapse by unauthorized activities or untrustworthy individuals and unplanned events, respectively. So the strategies, no, and methodologies of computer security often differ from most other computer technologies because of its somewhat elusive
objective, no, of preventing unwanted computer networks and behaviors instead of enabling wanted computer behavior. So computer security, generic name for collection of tools designed to protect data and to thwart hackers, no. Network security measures, no, to protect data during their transmission. Internet security measures to protect data during the transmission over a collection of interconnected network. So why security? No? Computer security is required because most organizations can be damaged by virus software or intruders. And there may be several forms of damage which are obviously interrelated. Katulad po ng damage or in destruction of computer system and internal data. Nangyayari po yan. Loss of sensitive information to steal parties. Use of sensitive information to steal items to monetary value. No? Use of sensitive information about the organization's customers, which may result in legal action by customers against the organization and lost customers. Sometimes damage of the reputation of an organization, no? Monitoring damage due, no, to lose sensitive information, destruction of data, hostile use of sensitive data, or damage of the organization reputations. So the principle of security, actually, we have three concepts, no, of concepts forms what is often referred to as the CIA triad, no? So last meeting, no, I already played, no, the CIA triad discussion, no. The three concept embody the fundamental security objectives for the both data and information and computing services. We have the confidentiality, integrity, and the availability, no? So confidentiality is a set of rules that limit access to information. Confidentiality is the term used to prevent the disclosure of information to an unauthorized individual or system. So, measures undertaken to ensure confidentiality are designed to prevent sensitive information from reaching the wrong people while making sure that the right people can in fact get it, no? Training can help familiarize authorized people with risk factors, no, and how to guard against them. So further aspect of training can include strong passwords and passwords related best practices in information about social engineering methods. So the term privacy and secrecy are sometimes used to distinguish between the protection of personal data, yung privacy, and the protection of data belonging to an organization or secrecy. Let's say for example, no, a credit card transaction on the internet requires the credit card number to be transmitted from the buyer, right? So to the merchant, no? So to a transaction processing network. So the system attempts to enforce confidentiality by encrypting the card number during transmission by limiting the places where it might appear. Sa database man yan, log files, backups, printed receipts, and so on. And by restricting access to the places where it is stored. So if an unauthorized party obtains the card number in any way, a breach of confidentiality has occurred. So confidentiality is necessary but not sufficient for maintaining the privacy of the people whose personal information a system holds. So preserving authorized restriction on information access and disclosure, including means of protecting personal privacy and proprietary information. Because a loss of confidentiality is unauthorized disclosure of information. Prevention of unauthorized disclosure of information. Integrity is the assurance that the information is trustworthy and accurate. Integrity involves maintaining the accuracy, and trustworthiness of data over its entire life cycle. Data must not be changed in transit, and steps must be taken to ensure that the data cannot be altered by unauthorized people. Let's say, for example, in a breach of confidentiality. So these goals defines how we avoid our data from being altered. No, maybe you've heard the word man in the middle attacks. This is an example of course, the MeTM. No, example of threat for this goal. No, so integrity is about making sure that everything is as it is supposed to be. And in the context of computer security, the prevention of unauthorized modification of information. However, additional qualifications like being authorized to do what one does. So let's say, for example, the MIS head have, of course, restriction. No? Same with the data administration, database administrator, programmer, no? So they have their own different level of account, no? And following the correct procedures have also been included under the term integrity so that users of a system, even if unauthorized, if authorized, no, are not permitted to modify data items in such a way that assets or accounting records of the company are lost or corrupted. In computer security, integrity means that data cannot be modified undetectably. So, guarding against improper information, modification or destruction, and include ensuring information non-repudiation and authenticity. A loss of integrity is the unauthorized modification or destruction of information. Prevention of unauthorized modification of information must observe. Now, I just want to look into the availability. No, it means that assets are accessible to authorized parties at appropriate times. Availability is very much a concern beyond the traditional boundaries of computer security. We want to ensure that a malicious attacker cannot prevent legitimate users from having reasonable access to their system. Okay. So that is the CIA triad, no? The confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, information security again means protecting information and information system from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, perusal, inspection, and recording or destruction. So the term information security, computer security, and information assurance are frequently used interchangeably actually. And these fields are interrelated, open, and share the common goals of protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. However, there are some subtle differences between them. Okay, so the information security is concerned with the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data, regardless of the form the data may take. No, electronic, print, or other forms. Computer security can focus on ensuring the availability and correct operations of computer system without concern for the information stored or processed by the computer. Information assurance focuses on the reasons for assurance that information is protected, and it is thus reasoning about information security. Another is enterprise security. No? What I really want here is just to introduce everything, no? The entire content of what we expect or transpired for the entire semester of this information assurance and security course. So, especially for those who are working right now in the enterprise, no? Maybe you've heard the word enterprise security, and it is about building system to remain dependable in the face of malice, error, or mischance. As a discipline, it focuses on the tools, processes, and methods needs to design, implement, and test complete system, and to adapt existing system as their environment evolves. No, so enterprise security requires cross-disciplinary expertise, ranging from cryptography and computer security through hardware, tamper resistance, and formal methods to acknowledge of economics, applied psychology, or organizations and the law. No, so system engineering skills, from business process analysis through software engineering to evaluation and testing are so important. So, but they are not sufficient as they deal only with error and mischance rather than malice. So many security systems have critical assurance requirements. The enterprise security analysis framework cover the policy, incentives, mechanism, and assurance. No? So the enterprise security analysis framework, as I mentioned, no, good enterprise system requires four things to come together. Number one nga, as I mentioned, policy. What you're supposed to. Then mechanism, the ciphers, the access control, the hardware tamper resistance, and other machinery that you assemble in order to implement the policy. Now, another framework for the enterprise security is the assurance, the amount of confidence you can place on each particular mechanism, and lastly, the incentives, no, the motive, no, that the people guarding and maintaining the system have to do their job properly, and also the motive that attackers have to try to defeat your policy. No, all of these interact, no. Now, enterprise security within an enterprise architecture context. Many of the terms used in enterprise security are straightforward, but some are misleading or even controversial, right? Now, there are more detailed definition of technical terms, no, in the relevant chapters, which you can find using the index. Now, so the first thing we need to clarify is what we mean by system. In practice, no, this can denote a product or component such as cryptographic protocol, a smart card, or a hardware of a PC. So, or a collection of the above plus in operating system, no, a communication and other things that go to make an organization infrastructure. So the above plus one or more applications like media player, browser, word processor, accounts, payroll package, and so on. Any or all of the above plus IT staff, any or all of the above the plus internal users and management, or any or all of the above plus customer and other external users. A business-driven approach, no? Because we need to establish the business context, no, in enterprise security architecture. So, for those who are working in the industry, no, maybe you are sort of familiar with business-driven approach. So the a business-driven approach to enterprise security architecture means that security is about enabling the objective of an organization by controlling operational risk. So the business-driven approach becomes a key differentiator to existing security practices that are focused solely on identifying threats to an enterprise and technical vulnerables in IT infrastructure and subsequently implementing controls to mitigate the risk introduced. So a purely threat-based approach to risk management fails to enable effective security in business operations. So the term security will carry very different meaning to different organizations. Let's say, for example, we can consider security as it relates to a military organization and security related to an online retailer that processes credit card information. So we've heard also the cyber defense, no? Cyber defense is a computer network defense mechanism which include the response to action and critical infrastructure protection information assurance for organizations, government entities, and other possible networks. So cyber defense focuses on preventing, detecting, and providing timely response to attacks or threats. It prevents the growth in volume as well as complexity of cyber attacks. No, it is essential for most entities in order to protect sensitive information as well as to safeguard asset. No, it is devising and driving the strategic necessary to counter the malicious attack or threats. It reduces the appeal of the environment to the possible attackers because cyber defense also carries out technical analysis to identify the threat, no? So it helps in enhancing the security strategy utilization and resources in the most effective fashion. Now, cyber defense also helps in improving the effectiveness of the security resources and security expenses, especially in critical location. And cyber defense protection most important business asset against attack. So I think that this will be the basic discussions of the information assurance and security.